coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Boom, man. I appreciate the support. Let's go, let's get it, man. We done made the switch now. We on Twitch. You hear me? All the lives are on Twitch. Morning Mud, Chat TBP. Come mess with us, man. Rock with us, man. Get your Twitch account, man. Hey, man. Can't do it without you. You dig? Let's go, let's get it, man. Shout out to all my supporters, man. All my subscribers. All my new Twitch family. Let's go, let's get it, man. We just trying to spread this thing out everywhere, man, so everybody can get a piece of this positive energy, and hopefully it'll make a difference in some of these young people's lives, man. That's what we trying to do. Hopefully y'all join this marathon, because it is not a sprint. This movement, because it's not a moment, and we get it done, man. Straight up. Listen, man. I believe, man, they should have called my big homie, man, the Slim Reaper. I believe his name should have been the Slim Reaper, man. When he called, I'm gonna let him know, man. That's his new nickname, man, the Slim Reaper, man. Y'all heard me talk about my homie, man, a lot, man. Boo. I call him the big homie because he probably a year or two older than me. Probably was locked up a year or two before me. So by the time I got to Augusta, man, and I met Boo, man, we connected because of the simple fact he was from the city, from DC too. You know what I'm saying? Another part of the city, but he was still from the city. I'm from Southeast. I think he was from Northeast. I ain't sure, but I know that looking back now and reflecting on, me, doing my 33 years, and I have told him this personally because I know sometimes us as men, we get into our egos, this, that, and the third. But I never told him at the time, but I learned a lot about doing time from watching Boo. A lot. The way he moved, the way he was getting money in the penitentiary, the way he just, maneuvered his way through the system. He knew more about the system than me. He, had been locked up, young, back in youth center and all this and all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is my first time being locked up. So he knew a lot about the system already. He just had crossed that line as some of us do from DC over into Virginia and get the clamps put on you. So he knew how to do time, So when I got around him, like I say, it wasn't a whole lot of dudes in the Virginia system that was from DC at the time, especially where we was up there in the mountains in no man's land, up at Augusta. Augusta was the first mountain institution in Virginia before they had the River Norths and the King Mountain and Wallace Ridge and Red Onion. That was the first institution up there in the mountains, man, with these hillbillies, these hillbillies, these farmers, you know what I'm saying? So, we all learning at the same time. So, like I say, but just when I got around Boo, man, I saw how he moved. He was one of the most known dudes on the camp because I think he was one of the first dudes that was really getting money. That he get the sack in, he moving, he shaking, and he baking. But like I say, Boo's tall and slim. He may be about 6'1", but he was slim. He was skinny. You know what I'm saying? But he cut up. He's sharp. He can box. He used to box. You know what I'm saying? He's sharp with it, and he vicious with it. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give it to you how you need it. You know what I'm saying? If you need that, he got it for you. You know what I'm saying? If you want that, he got it for you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get your head bust open, he got it for you. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't gonna do a lot of barking. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no loud dude. In fact, he got a low, squeaky type voice. You know what I'm saying? You can look at Boo and misread him like a lot of dudes did and found out the hard way. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and some of my videos, I remember telling you I had a celly one time from Richmond, Tracy. And Tracy was a hard head anyway, because like I told you, Tracy ended up with me on Mecklenburg, and he tried Graham like that and got the brakes beat up off of him. And I tried to warn him then. I warned him about Boo. He took heed to the warning. But Boo was like, man, no, you should have let him come on, man. I was like, yeah, tell him come on. Because Boo had this big old necklace, one of the biggest necklaces on the camp. I think jewelry back then was, you had a few dudes on the compound that had some like street jewelry. Boo had one. We had the homie up there, Rob. He had so much jewelry, but he was locked up for a jewel thief. He breaking jewelry stores. We used to call him Liberace. He had so much daggone jewelry. And then you had the Blow from Richmond. Blow was rich on the street, from what I understand. You know what I'm saying? Was a kingpin out there before he got locked up. So he got record stores and car lots and also Blow had a big old chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the rapper days. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Slick Rick type stuff. And you got to think this is the late 80s, so they weren't really tripping off of that until, you know, a lot of violence started coming up with dudes trying to rob dudes for their jewelry or this, that, and the third, and dudes ended up getting, you know, so then they started putting a limit on the jewelry that we can have in prison. And I think you couldn't have nothing over, at one, it got to a point where you couldn't have no jewelry that was valued over $50. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so much violence going on. Dudes like, see, man, where you get that from? And that's what Tracy was doing. He was looking at Boo necklace. He was like, man, he listened at Boo voice. He looking at how small Boo look, and he like, man, what's up with that dude right there and that necklace, man? I said, who? He said, I said, man, you don't want no parts of that, man. No, you don't want no parts of that, man. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? But Boo was like that, man. People who knew. People who didn't know found out. Because I told you he not going to do all that. Man, what you wait, man, after he don't do that. He didn't even cuss. He was a Muslim. He ain't even cuss. He going to be like, man, dang on, man, what? Man, that's some bull jive, man. He like that, you know. So, like I said, at the time, he didn't know that I was taking notes, but this is what you got to do when you in the penitentiary. You got to watch and observe. It ain't about running your mouth and thinking you know everything because you go in the penitentiary and just because you got some heart, just because you can fight and you think you know everything, you can end up on somebody's gurney. You know what I'm saying? That's just real talk. You got to find out what's going on. You got to know the lay of the land. So I seen how he navigated, how he did business, how he moved, you know what I'm saying, how he outsmarted the police. I was there in real time to see all of this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching it, but he don't know I'm watching it because I'm acting like I know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm green as a pool table 4 times square, but you know what I'm saying? I knew street stuff, but I ain't know this stuff. I ain't never deal with no drugs on the street. I had peoples, you know, in my family that, you know, dibbled and dabbled in that and whatnot, you know, allegedly, you know. But I never, you know what I'm saying? I was a stick up dude. I'm gonna let you go sell all the drugs. I'm gonna come take the money. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was in my youth, as you know, stuck in my stupidity. You know what I'm saying? My ignorance. You know, I didn't know. No, I'm not. Now, in my mind, I'm like, I look like standing out here on the counter selling drugs, taking all these chances. I can take one chance. Come take it from you. You know what I'm saying? Take the one chance. That was my philosophy back then. So he knew how to navigate. He knew how to, you know what I'm saying, push this, that, and the third, woo. So I sit back and I watch. Like I said, I never had sold drugs before. So the first time that I ever really sold any drugs in the penitentiary, it was reefers. And that came from Boo. That came from his knowledge how to get it, because I told y'all in one of them stories that the white boy owed me money. He couldn't get my money. He owed me cash. And I was getting ready to put the, you know what I'm saying, put it on him. You know, put that beat down on him real bad about the money, but I was going to lose out either way. But that's still the principle of the situation. You got to demonstrate when somebody violates. So he ended up bringing me a ounce of weed and tried to give me this for $100. And I'm like, man, I don't want this, man. And Boo was like, man, is you tripping? Bro, you know how much money you can make off? Man, get that weed, man. Get that weed. Because I was getting ready to try to give, but no, man, don't send me this. You just where my money at? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, bro, you going to take this. You going to make your money back. I said, keep that, man. Get the weed, man. Do that. I'm telling you, I got you. So I did it on the strip that he told me to. And you know what I'm saying? When count was clear, we go in the room. I see him chop up all the weed, bag it all up for me. Him and Harvey. Harvey was his sale partner at the time. Shout out to Harvey from Richmond. And they bagged it all up, and then they're smoking, and oh, there's some good weed too. And I'm in there trying to, you know, you know what I'm saying? We doing all this in the penitentiary. So Once he bagged all that up and showed it to me, like, look, you can take this right here. So this you see this little piece right here? This right here? This your money back right here. He owe you. This your money. All the rest of this, that's extra money, man. Yeah, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So back then, you could take a ounce of weed and probably make, you know what I'm saying, easily over 12, 13, $1,400. You know what I'm saying? But I was ready to snap on him because I wanted the cash because I was just that green. So I learned that from him. That's a learning process that I processed from dealing with Boo because he knew these things. You know what I'm saying? He, like I say, he already on there shaking and baking. So he put me down with that game. So that was something that I took with me for the rest of my bit. I knew what the value of weed was. I knew what the value of drugs was in the penitentiary from dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of situations I went through with Boo, man, in that short period of time that we was on Augusta, there was learning experiences for me. You know, when I had the situation with Big Raymond, he knew that I had the heart and I wanted to be played with. He knew Raymond. Raymond and him had been on the block before me. He had a rapport with Raymond. You know, he looking at him like, big old bully, but he harmless. You know what I'm saying? Because they cool. But he didn't like me. And he warned Raymond several times, man, you better leave Scott alone, man. I'm saying, boy, he ain't. And Raymond just ain't like me. He just didn't take heed. As, Tracy did when I tried to tell him about Boo. Tracy took heed. Raymond ain't take heed. That's why he ended up getting what he got. But I could have easily been still in the penitentiary, what I'm saying, for a whole body because when he snatched that coat off the dude and wrapped it on his arm, and I was going to go back and finish him off. And he couldn't even defend himself at this time because he was already losing, breath. His lungs was already getting ready to collapse. And Boo hollered out, "Hey, man, hey, leave him alone, man. They looking at you. Everybody looking at you." He snapped me out of my trance, you know what I'm saying, which might have saved me from not being in the penitentiary to this day. To this day. You know what I'm saying? I still went through what I went through, but I ain't go through what I would have went through had he lost his life. You see what I'm saying? And then when I was back there in the hole and they had the whole compound on lock and they was holding my block on lock and saying that they weren't going to let them out till they find the knife, and dudes was starting to get restless and they was starting to like, man, somebody throw the knife out. And Boo was the one who spoke up. He said, man, nobody throw that knife out there, man. Man, they trying to get short of murder charge or something, man. Y'all better not throw that knife out there, man. I swear y'all better not throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? So that, that's another moment in my bit where he was there. You know what I'm saying? So when I went through that whole situation, man, and I ended up coming out the hole, man, you know what I'm saying? Umpteen times later, you know what I'm saying? When people ain't even know I was still there, thought I had got transferred and went somewhere or something, I come out and won't even out for a minute and had the situation with me and Dixon with the big white boy, and Boo got involved in that. But I'm telling you, he knew how to do time. Me and Dixon take off on the dude and we start putting the work in him. He come over there, puts us out the way and bang, 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 and start beating him with it, locking the sock. So when everything was said and done, and me and Dixon changed the clothes with the blood on it and shoot outside and try to get away, and Boo do what he do. He done dipped off and went in the cell and did what he did and switched up. Man, when all was said and done, man, the people locked me and Dixon up. The white boy telling on us, he don't even see Boo. He don't even mention Boo. Boo is the only one who got away in the situation. He the only one that got away scot-free. You dig? Man, we end up going to, you might as well say the people's court, going to street court and everything for that. Boo ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't even, you know what I'm saying? They ain't even know he was involved. The white boy was so discombobulated, all he knows is he argued with me and Dixon in the kitchen, come back and he see me and Dixon in the he don't even see Boo. By then, he already hurt, discombobulated, covered up. He don't even know who hitting him, what's going on. So it was like I say, he knew how to move around in the system. He knew things that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And it won't like in the penitentiary, like you ask somebody, man, like, show me this or show me that. You don't even do that, man. You just got to watch and observe and see. But I knew he commanded respect, you know what I'm saying? Because people knew if you was on there, he's slim, he's small, he even got a squeaky voice, but he dangerous. And they knew he could rumble. Because Chucky was on there with us. Him and Chucky used to be in the pod, body punching, and dudes was being all. Damn, man, little Joker hit hard. Man, that little Joker can rumble with Chucky. Because Chucky was built like that. I mean, like, period. But he was also, Chucky like was about 6'2", 6'3", man, about 220. Solid, hit hard. Boo and him banging. I'm talking about hard, and they dudes was be shocked. This little skinny frame can stand up to that. Boo probably weighed about, I would say, 160 or less, 157, 158 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Standing at 6 feet, 6'1". So dudes was shocked. They knew. They see him go down the gym and put the gloves on and spar dudes and give them work. I'm talking about leave them leaking and, sharp with it. Bang, boom, boom. But he ain't talk a lot. When he talking about money. When he talking about what you owe him. If you owe him something for something you got from him, it ain't no whole lot of, man, where the money at, and you ain't got the money with him, he gonna get some money, and peel off on you. And he out of there. Or he gonna bang, bang, boom, boom. Next time I see you, it's the same thing if you don't get my money. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. That's how he moving. That's how dudes respecting him. That's how dudes know who he is. Hey man, that Slim dude out there, Slim Boot from these man, he ain't playing no game. That was the MO on him. You know what I'm saying? Before I got there. So I just fell in line because I believe, like I said, it was God's plan, man, God and the squad to put me around somebody that I could relate to. Somebody that was from where I was from. Somebody he might not have like say, boom, you know what I'm saying? I got you under my wing, man. Look, I'm gonna show you how to do. But he led by example, and I just took notes. You know what I'm saying? I just took notes, man, and he was sharp in every way you could think of, man, because Boo had a lot of time, but he had brothers on the street that was getting money, and he knew the game. They put that money behind the lawyers, and next thing, Boo made first parole, dog. See how hard it is to make first? He made first parole after like about 14 years. 14 years he made first parole. I barely know anybody in my 30-something years of doing time that made first parole, bro. I don't even think I know more than one or two if I really think hard on it. He made first parole because he knew how to finesse the system all the way around the board. You see what I'm saying? So he ended up getting out, and Boo also became the first dude that ever got out of prison that I knew, that I was cool with, that I considered a brother or comrade, that ever sent me any money back in prison. Ever reached back out to me. Only the first one. First one. I can remember years later, after he had got out, I wasn't even on the compound with him no more. I hadn't even seen him for years. This is how you know real recognize real. I hadn't seen him for years. And I had heard he had got out. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think this is the beginning of my bit when I first meet him. I mean, within the first two years I'm locked up. So he ended up doing 14. Once I got separated from him, when I left for the white boy zone, I didn't run back into Boo probably. No, I didn't run back into him for the rest of my bid. For the rest of his, before he went home. Yes, I did. I ran into him one more time. We was on Greensville together. We was on Greensville together in the late 90s, but only for a minute. Only for a minute because he was in SEG, and I had came out of SEG, and they had put me on the other side of the yard where he was at, but he was in SEG, and I can go to the window and holler at him and send him some commissary and stuff back there like that. So we chopped it up every day. I came out, I went to the SEG window, hollered at him, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And then he ended up getting shipped, and I never saw him again until he made parole. So this is years and years later. You see what I'm saying? 14 years. So you talking? He ended up making first parole. And I can remember being I was on Greensville still, and I was in the hole, and I was in the hole. I got in the bullseye fight. I was in the hole for a minute, and I get a letter and a money order, and it was from Boo. And he ain't even say nothing. That's just how he is. He don't do a whole lot of talking. Only thing he said, man, yeah, man, this Boo, man, just make sure you all right, man. Somebody gave me your number. I was trying to find your number, shorty. Boom. He said, I've been home for such. He said, holler at me when you need me. And I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? That was real to me. First time it ever happened. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, it ain't been but 3 people that I was cool with and got all right with and went home and sent me money back in the penitentiary. Only 3 that got out before me. And that was Boo, that's Mom, and that was my old head van. That's it. That's why I do what I do to the soldiers that I'm cool with. Cause I never wanted to be one of them dudes. Because there was a lot of other dudes that I was cool with too. They never even reached back, never sent me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Never even reached back to see if I was okay. You see what I'm saying? So that meant a lot to me. And I'm a loyal dude. I never forget. You know what I'm saying? I never forget that. So, like even right now, unfortunately, I ain't ever seen Boo been able to be around him on the street. You know what I'm saying? When I got out, he had recently just had got in a situation and was locked up. You know what I'm saying? So no, he was fighting the joint. Yup, he was fighting the joint, and he was in the city, and we was supposed to meet up, but we didn't, and then he ended up losing the case, and he been locked up. So he been locked up now about 5 years. I only been out 6. You know what I'm saying? But I've been holding him down the whole 5. You did. And hopefully he'll be home soon. I can bring him to y'all. Y'all be able to see him, chop it up with him. You know what I'm saying? But he in good spirits. He in good health. You know what I'm saying? He's still working out every day. When he was locked up, where he was at, when Jay Williams, shout out to Leslie of wife Jay Williams, Leslie of life Jay Williams, when Jay Williams got locked back up, Jay Williams was in the block with him. He put Jay Williams on the phone. He heard Jay Williams talking about me and pulled up on Jay Williams and said, man, what you say about Banky? You know about Banky? He said, yeah, man, that's my dude, man. He do the YouTube like I do the woo. And Boo had to run a whole check on him. Boo called me, say, man, you know this white boy tell me he do YouTube name, Jay Williams. I said, yeah, man. He said, hey, he up in here with me, man. I heard him talking your name. I told him I'm the big bro, right? Yeah, man. So just a solid dude, man. But like I say, man, he like the Slim Reaper, man. You sleep on him, Jay will tell you. Ask Jay Will. Jay will tell you how much respect he was getting even just back in there. And he's only back on a violation. Same thing. Somebody was playing with him, owed him some money out here on the land. And he had a slip of, good judgment and reverting back to your pen. I tell you, you gotta fight that, man. Your penitentiary philosophy. And he ended up just and dude went to the police. Violation. See what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So hopefully he'll be home soon, man. But he ain't nothing to play with, man. And there's a lot of us that live like that, man. Sometimes you gotta let sleeping giants hibernate, man, because you will judge a person and you'll misjudge a person by their appearance, by their size, by their demeanor, by their tone. That could be the last mistake that you ever make, man. So yeah, man. But Boo is a real one, man, and I learned a lot from him doing time. And I remember when he even when I was in there before I got out, I forgot that part. Before I got out, he had violated when he was out here then, and he came back for about seven more years. And within that 7 years, I ran into him one time, and I was around him for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I was around him for a whole year, man. That was some good times, man. We got to chop it up. He was on one side of the yard, I was on the other side of the yard. We both got in the program just to go over there and talk to each other every week. So, it's a real comrade, a real brotherhood right there, man. A real soldier. And I respect him a lot, man. And got mad love for him like a brother, man. So hopefully he'll be home soon. I'll bring him to y'all. But the moral of the story is, man, when you go into the penitentiary, especially when you go in young or you go in and it's your first time, it's going to be a lot of things you don't know. And the only way you're going to really find out, and I didn't even know this, I just did this organically. But like I say, God and the squad, man, is to watch, be quiet, and observe. Because even if you ask for information or somebody volunteer information, that's when you don't know if there's a motive behind the information that they're giving you. That's when you don't know if the information is proper. You see what I'm saying? So if you ask for it, they might give you what their version is or what they want you to know. If they volunteer it, it most definitely may be something to represent their agenda. But if you be quiet, you sit back and you watch, and you decipher, discern, you'll get your information that you need. And that's the best way I could tell anybody going in paying attention to try to survive. And I didn't even know that. It just came organically to me. Just to be quiet, sit back and listen. I got that from the hood that I come from. Don't go out there running your mouth. Loose lips sink ships. Watch, observe, and then apply, But anyway, man, just wanted to drop that on y'all, man. Y'all talk to me in the comments. I talk back. Don't forget, man, we twitching, we switching, and we twitching in the morning, and we twitching at night. We might be twitching during the day. Ain't no telling. Keep your notifications on, man. And to my knowledge, if you subscribe, if you get the subscription for the low, then you won't get no commercials. If you don't, they're going to commercial you to death over on Twitch. So that's what it is. Y'all come rock with me if you mess with me, man. You dig? Joke with me since you can't smoke with me. You dig? All you good smokers, y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man, and duck them hooks, man. They out there.
The banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.